So for this video, if you watch the first one, obviously, I just kind of gave you some history and background and my thoughts on biologic. With this video, I want to focus on symptoms and a lot of the problems that I had because of Lyme and the co-infections. And I believe that a lot of these are going to be relatable for a lot of people. Some of the biggest issues that I had, the most detrimental issues for myself that really kept me bedridden or sick 4 out of the 7 days a week. One of them being I had really bad chest pains and heart palpitations. It would be like right here underneath my left armpit, right above the heart, and it would feel sometimes like I was having a heart attack, really, or just constant throbbing and heat to it. I also had really bad. It would be right behind my right side, behind underneath the ribs, right around the liver and the kidney. And it would be so painful, especially when I would sit down and I was, kind of scrunching down on it. And what I learned was that's all because of inflammation, right? It's because my body was not detoxing properly. Plus, I do not have an appendix or a gallbladder, which a lot of people in my situation have had one or both removed. So those are all detoxification aid organs in the body. So all we have left is the liver, and the liver's overrun already because of our infections, on top of not having two extra helpers. So, and then that created, on top of the liver pain and the chest pain, right? Because I was so full of toxins, I was so tired. My body was just dragging. And that created, for me, the most significant and heartbreaking symptoms are the neurological, because you are not losing your intelligence. You are the same person you were before you got sick, only this time there's such massive fog in your brain that when you're speaking to someone and have a conversation, you hear them, your hearing's not impaired, but they have to repeat themselves because I wasn't comprehending what they were saying. And it was so frustrating. I was so confused, so much emotional roller coaster is, putting it mildly. And so I couldn't explain, doctors couldn't explain why I was having this, right? Okay, we know I have Lyme, we know I have co-infections, right? But they couldn't understand, they couldn't separate all the infections and look at each infection individually, right? So they were always constantly just trying to band-aid the symptoms, right? One wanted to give me Botox injections, right, for headaches, and they were hoping that would decrease the brain fog. But there was no way I was going to put a poison into my body, and my body is already sick. I had another individual that wanted to do, I believe it was called like a DTaP, and that's a really expensive test to check your serotonin production within your brain, right? Because I'm having no energy whatsoever. So I have done all the research, right? I've gotten as far as I can on my own. And so when I started to look at biologic, I was connecting dots. This made sense. Number one, I know my body's heavily infected and full of toxicity. This is a fact with these infections. Okay. It's not, I like Ben Shapiro's quote, like, facts over feelings, right? Yeah, it hurts my feelings. Yeah, it makes me sad and scared, but it's a reality I have to accept in order to get better, in order to have quality of life. And so when I looked at biologic and I got there, and first of all, it's a beautiful facility. I mean, I have never in my life been into a doctor's office or taken in to a doctor's care in such a way. Okay. I spend, 4 to 6 hours a day there, and an hour to an hour and a half with the doctor each day, 4 days a week. Right. So when I was starting the treatments, I mean, they're all brand new to me. Besides the infrared sauna and the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, I had not utilized any of their methods. All right. So it was all brand new to me. And one of the first things that I fell in love with at Biologic was their clear mind. All right. And this is a treatment where you sit relaxed back in a chair and you put these kind of like colored goggles over your eyes. They put little small 2 or 3 electrodes on, your temples and then your forehead area here. And you sit back in the chair and you'll listen to something. For me, I wanted to listen to, water running like in a creek. Some people liked music, but I wanted to calm my brain and calm my body and just allow it just to let go and not focus on words or a beat. And so you'd sit back in the chair, and the whole point of this machine is to help balance out the brain. All right. One of the tests that they did on me when I first got there with the Clear Mind was it read my brain, and our brain has, I believe was it 6 to 8 different hemispheres, sections of the brain. All right. And in those sections are emotions and chemicals that are produced, right? It's a machine. And what I found was it was like 6 out of the 8 or 7 out of the 8 sections were red flagged, which means they were not working properly. Either they were working too much or not enough, right? Along with inflammation. I mean, it's inflamed brain from these infections. The majority of us have broke the blood-brain barrier with these infections, and they are in our brains, okay? This machine is like a detox for the brain. It's a calmer, all right? It works on trying to balance out your left and your right side because we are split straight down the middle, and we're supposed to work evenly on both sides. And when one side picks up more than the other, right, one gets overworked and vice versa. So this machine, I literally felt, I went in with panic and fear and apprehension, right? But I was still positive and hopeful, right? I had a little bit of both sides. And like I said before, one of my biggest problems was the fogginess, and for an individual, I do take pride in my ability to be able to understand a lot of the medical jargon and to be able to know what's going on and how these doctors are speaking to me and what they want to do. I take pride in that. So it's really frustrating when I'm having these people repeat themselves over and over again, or I'm writing down a word because I can't remember the definition, and I get home and I look it up and I'm still putting pieces together. It's exhausting. And after a week, I did the Clear Mind for an hour once a day, right? And after a week, I kid you not, guys, it was like a curtain lifted off of my brain. And I felt so good. I was comprehending what people were saying to me the first time without having them asking them to repeat themselves. I was getting a little bit more control over my emotions. I wasn't getting that anxiety in my chest and that anger, because really a lot of it for me was anxiety and anger, that it has how it presented itself. So that was starting to dissipate, right? And I was starting to be able to respond instead of react to things. I felt like I had control over my responses, over myself. And I'm not even going to lie, I broke down in tears. I really did, because I honestly thought, I even had a neurologist tell me it looked like I had early onset Alzheimer's. At 30, I think it was 36 when he said that to me. Yeah, at 36 years old, he's telling me it looks like I have signs of early Alzheimer's. And I mean, at, I don't want my mind to slip at 40 years old, and I have 2 kids, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old at home. It's scary. So it was such a freeing feeling. And along with the Clear Mind, they also have, this machine, and I can't remember what it is, but it basically realigns your brain and your heart so that they communicate correctly, right? So there's no delays in the signals that they're sending to each other. We feel that. We can feel that. That's what I was feeling here, right? I'm feeling inflammation, and I'm feeling the lack of the correct communication between the two. That's what it is. Okay. And this machine realigned that for me. And this is not a lie. Not one time since I have left Biologic have I had that chest pain. Not one time. Okay. And I have not had the fogginess. I still had the control over my emotions. Now have had to ask people to repeat themselves a few times, right? And I don't know if that was, maybe I wasn't really paying attention, or if I truly didn't comprehend in that moment. I'm not sure. But the vast majority of my day to day is significantly different. I don't have these episodes every day at all. The constant fatigue is gone. And I believe in my heart of hearts, because at a cellular level, I am being repaired. So everything on each level going up is working how it's supposed to work more correctly day by day. It is truly repairing itself. And not just because of what Biologic did, right? But because in my day to day life, I am taking responsibility and doing what I have to do. I have to eat correctly. Have to, have to, have to. This morning I had my blueberries and trail mix. Now I get my little bit of chocolate fix, right, with my trail mix, because in all reality, there's no way. I don't want to give up just treats once in a while, but moderation is key. So, and then again, the water is key too. Most people don't realize the majority of the bottled water out there, especially like the brands you buy at Kroger and Walmart in the bulk, their brands, they have arsenic in the water. The FDA approves a small amount of arsenic in water, right? Because they say it's not dangerous to us. But I want you to think about this. How many of us only drink a few bottle of waters in our lifetime? Right? Our body cannot shed that arsenic, especially as it builds up over time, and especially with people like us, right? So we have to be cautious about what we're putting into our body. And I encourage you ever so much to really, if you're a meat eater, I am fruit, veggies, meat, and seeds and nuts, the majority every single day. Okay. And again, it's expensive. And so I buy, like Aldi's has a little three pack of sirloins for $8 to $10. Right. And I buy 2 packs in a week. And typically most nights I'll have a small little sirloin and like sweet potato fries or broccoli or green beans or Brussels sprouts, right? I try to stay away from carbs, so the mashed potatoes and the macaroni and cheese, stuff like that. And I feel really good. And in the morning, I'm going to have I have blueberries almost every single morning because they are a great antioxidant. And we need all the help we can get. And the truth of the matter is, I used to be a horrible eater. I ate fast food all the time because I'm not a good cook. No one really taught me how to cook. My family grew up eating fast food a lot. And so I had a lot of habits I had to break, and it was not easy nor comfortable. But my taste buds have changed, right? Your body will change if you just stick with certain habits, right? Your taste buds will change. Your metabolism is going to change when you start eating this way. Salmon, steak, or some type of good meat, chicken, greens, veggies. Once you cut all of that, especially pop and box sugars and carbs out of your life, you are going to give your body a chance to reset itself. And that's so important. Any advantage that you can give yourself against these infections and these chronic conditions is key. I mean, we get one shot at this, right? And I don't know about you, but I don't want to live bedbound. I don't want to live going to the emergency room 4 times a year. I don't want to live where my boys are helping me up and down the stairs or watching mommy just live in the bed. The majority of households are single mothers with kids, right? And there are a lot of us out here, women who are sick, and our kids are sick too. And it's absolutely heartbreaking because number one, it's too expensive, and it's almost impossible to be able to get care for yourself, let alone your entire family. So you have to fight for yourself. And there's a wonderful, it's $200. I think it's $209, and you can get it off Amazon. And it's a Durasage portable infrared sauna. I've had mine for 5 years. I just used it this morning. I use it almost every morning, at least 4 times a week. And I'll sit in there for 30 minutes to an hour. And I am telling you guys, the amount of energy I have and the lack of stiffness in my joints or just pain back behind my lungs and in my ribs, it's gone. And what that does, the reason why it's gone is because whether or not there are the studies out there, because I've looked at the studies in the infrared saunas, and the one things that the whole science community will agree on, right, both pharmaceutical and biomedicine, is that the infrared sauna definitely increases circulation, right? So it oxygenates your blood vessels, allowing for like swifter passage. It's like cleaning out the pipes, getting all the clogs out. Things can move better. Like that's a fact that's been proven, right? The part that's debatable, that the pharmaceutical side of the medicine world debates on, is whether or not it truly detoxes like the organs, the lymphatic system. But I am sitting here telling you that it works. It works for me. Okay. I know for a fact it works for me, because when I do not use it, I am sluggish. I feel heavy. I can tell in my gut that I'm weighed down. And as soon as I get out of that sauna, as soon as I feel like a brand new woman. Why? Because it is able to penetrate through all 7 layers of the dermis, right? It is able to get into that lymphatic system, which is like the drainage system for our body, right? And get to our organs, and you're going to sweat it out. It's much different than a steam sauna. Totally different types of technology, therefore it produces totally different types of results. And that's so important for you to understand. And so I know for a fact for me that that infrared sauna is key to me continuing to have quality of life. And so for this video, I encourage you guys, right, to look at how you eat, the water that you drink, right? And look at ways for your ways how biologic and their treatments, right, attack directly those things that we need in order to put our body back in control of itself. Again, I'm going to say it. I really hope one day there's a cure, but until then, I can't just live in hope. I have to live in action, right? So my action is like this. I eat well. I keep the stress levels down in my life. I have had to find a new routine, a new work life, a new career, right? I used to be a mortician, and that's not exactly a very healthy job, both emotionally and physically, because of the embalming chemicals, right? So I got my insurance license and transitioned over to insurance and pre-need, still in the funeral business, because I do believe God called me to that area, right? But I had to find a new way that worked for me. I'm not a 40-hour a week girl. I can't do it. I can't work every day of the week. But I'm okay with that. I wish I could, because I have that drive and I want to, but I would rather have quality days and more days on this earth than cram-packed full days trying to make money, right? And losing out on my kids and just living life. So it's not easy, bills still exist. I still got to pay the bills. So I have kids that want to go to college, and I don't have it figured out. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I'm not really worried about it, to be honest with you. I have to focus on winning, on getting control of this disease. And I'm going to be returning to Biologic in the next few months. And I will present to you guys. I want you guys to be able to see my blood work and all of my testing before I went to Biologic, and then see the testing and everything after. I'm at 6 months since I left, so it'll probably be about 7 months when I get the testing. So we'll see where I was 7 months ago and where I am now. And so you guys can see like the proof in the pudding. Like, it isn't just my words. Like, here are the test results, because I know for a fact the way I feel, things have got to be better. There's no way that those infections can be multiplying and winning and still beating me, because I do not feel bad. I do not have the symptoms I used to have. And so I'm really excited to be able to share that with you guys. Um, there is, one other thing I wanted to talk about in the detoxing, since we're talking about detoxing, and this is so crucial for us. It's not flattering and it's not very ladylike to talk about, but it's a fact. Your gut is huge. You have to have regular bowel movements. You have to, right? Because that's another way that we're emptying ourselves. And, our colon holds so much good and bad bacteria. But when our bodies do not work like everyone else's, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do, that bacteria builds up, and that's going to cause a lot more sluggish feelings. That's going to nausea or vomiting, right? That's going to cause brain confusion. That's going to cause liver pain. I mean, the gut just basically backs you up, up and down your body. And so it's crucial that you have regular healthy bowel movements. And of course, food and the proper water, and a lot of water every day, is going to help that. But if you need a little bit extra help, which I do need, right? There is a wonderful supplement that Biologix uses, and it's an oxy powder aid, so an all natural aid that just uses oxygen, right, to help push you through. And that has been significant in me constantly detoxing. So just some things for you guys to think about, right? Food, water, detox, right? Sauna. And look at how Biologix utilizes all of that in their healing approach to you. And remember to keep in mind that Biologix is not a miracle cure. Okay, that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to teach you and help you have a more natural way of living and healing with this illness, with these chronic conditions. So, I heavily encourage you to continue to do your research on them, and I really do believe that you will just feel drawn to them. If you are meant to do this and to go there, you will feel that pull, because the majority of us have been mistreated and dismissed in the medical community, and there just aren't answers, and they don't do that. And they take you in with open arms because they understand how isolating this is and how lonely and scary it is. And they have such a genuineness about them. I don't even know if that's a word, but they just are. They're truly genuine. I haven't met many people in my lifetime like that place. And I really do. I encourage you, please check them out. I know, again, the money is a big deal. There are scholarships that you can apply for that I've learned about, to help with money towards these places. And one of them is the Mary Shands, SHANDS scholarship from the Marion Institute. And I believe that's in Massachusetts, I think. And so it's a very simple process, but they can help provide money. And there are other avenues. So please do not feel like you cannot get here because of money. Reach out. Dr. Jernigan, Dr. Farney, that entire place, they have wonderful hearts. They want to help heal people. And I know that they will help those, that need help. They will do what they can do. And so don't give up if money is what's keeping you from being able to go here. There are tons of different scholarships that you can apply for. And again, everything that I've told you about food and the sauna and at home, besides the sauna, it doesn't cost you money. We have to eat anyways to live. So you're already doing that. So these are tools you can utilize every day in your life, besides Biologix, to help you get in control of your body. But for me, I had to have Biologix in order to get to where I am. Because even with all the knowledge and the research I had done, I didn't know all the supplements. I didn't have all those, all the testing or the treatments available to me. There aren't places like that. And so they were a one-stop shop for me, and it gave me peace of mind. It gave me my life back. It gave me quality of life back. And I am so excited to see the results of these labs and share them with you guys.